you, you, just you. My Lord, I want only you, you, only you. Well, friends, we are going to take a look at stanza 71 from the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, explained by Paramahansa Yogananda and edited by Swami Kriyananda. Today, 71 stanza, quatrain 71, goes something like this. And much as wine has played the infidel and robbed me of my robe of honor, well, I often wonder what the vintners buy, one half so precious as the goods they sell. This is a bit obtuse. Let me play Swami Kriyananda.
Stanza 71. And much as wine has played the infidel and robbed me of my robe of honor, well, I often wonder what the vintners buy, one half so precious as the goods they sell.
Here Omar is once again sort of looking back in the progression of the quatrain. He's achieved self-realization, and he continues to counsel us on the journey following him. And he points out that there are some on this journey, spiritual journey, who in so doing, in embarking on the journey, lose the respect and friendship of their erstwhile friends, erstwhile meaning those who are not interested in that journey and who may even mock, criticize, and dislike you as a result of the journey you've embarked on. I remember Swami Kriyananda saying that all too often family members would rather you become an addict or a drunk or something rather than go on the spiritual path, because they can pity you for your failings, but for your aspirations, most people feel that it is somehow reflects upon them and their lack of aspirations. And so it is. But then in Yogananda's explanation here of the quatrain, he goes on to talk about how it is also true that having lost the respect of our worldly friends or family, that sometimes the devotee maybe gets discouraged or reaches the middle age of their sadhana, of their spiritual life and practices, and finds themselves up against a great deal of obstacles, karma, and so forth. And for whatever reason, in any case, they abandon their spiritual journey, seeking perhaps once again the warmth, the familial warmth and the friendship of their friends. And as often happens, you know, those of us who are born and raised around, monasteries and convents and priests and nuns and so forth, you see that when someone leaves their vocation, not everyone, of course, but sometimes they go off and they, in mad pursuit of sense enjoyments and hilarity and jollity, and do whatever they can to mask the feeling of guilt they might have for having abandoned the spiritual path, and as Omar says here, basically traded that which is valuable for nothing, and one half so precious as the goods they sell. He says, I often wonder what the vintners buy, meaning those who have fermented the wine of divine ecstasy. What is it they buy when they sell it, when they give it away, when they walk away? And so sadly enough, we see this on the spiritual path. I don't think anybody embarks on it at step A and then goes all the way to Z. I think it's more like the stock market, where it goes up and down. And so that is simply the way. Now, I think Swami Kriyananda commented that the one sin against the Holy Ghost, a very strange aspect in the New Testament, Jesus says there, God can forgive all sins but one, and that's the sin against the Holy Ghost. And that's a strange one, but what it means is that when we turn our back on God, on the spiritual life, on the seeking of soul guidance, only we can reverse that course. That sin isn't, quote, forgiven, because that's a conscious choice that we made. And it is we that must make the conscious choice to seek God. We can acquire virtue by good habits, and we can acquire success by non-attachment and concentration and talent and so forth. But all of those things can be taken from us. But it is we alone who must consciously seek the pearl of great price. Now, there's another aspect to this that I'd like to bring up. It's far more nuanced in some respects, meaning, can I have a foot in each boat? You know, we see in religions of the world and religionists, people who go to church on Sunday or fast during Ramadan and so on, who observe the outward rites and rituals and laws of Mother Church. Is that enough? Can we be a devotee and practice Kriya Yoga and continue to live a worldly life? Well, of course we literally can. Nobody can stop us. But what is the consequences? We haven't turned our back on the world, at least not seemingly, and at the same time we meditate, let's say. How long can we go on doing that? Which will win out? Well, of course, we don't really know, but, the dice are loaded, because spiritual consciousness offers us a boon that can never be matched by worldly consciousness, because worldly pursuits and success and pleasure are always fleeting, whereas the joy of the soul is eternal. But in any case, this is a more difficult question. Lahiri Mahashaya asked Babaji, could he give Kriya Yoga to the struggling men and women of the world who were not in a position to take the vows of outward renunciation of worldly life, let's say, and adopt a life focused solely on God. Babaji said, it is God who has spoken through you. And so Lahiri began this great work of Kriya Yoga around the world to give people a taste of the divine. But here's the catch. It all depends on the depth of our sincerity. You can be a CEO in Amazon, or you can be a carpenter, or you can be a gardener, or pick up trash with a big truck day in and day out. None of those seemingly worldly pursuits have anything to do with the state of your soul. So when I ask this question, I'm not asking about the outward performance of duties, or being married, or having a family, which Lahiri Mahashaya did. It has to do with the inner. And what I would like to offer is that we may be indeed sincere in our meditation, in our devotions, but we can also at the same time be torn and have a great deal of unfulfilled worldly karma to deal with. The difference is our sincerity. If we keep trying, Yogananda said, to those who go to the end of life, sincerely seeking, struggling, certainly at times, to attune themselves to the divine will, those I will greet through the portal of death. And that's really what I'm talking about here. It's no sin, well, it is a sin if you want to be technical, but it's no sin to have worldly desires. The only thing is whether we love God, we seek that eternal bliss, that eternal presence and solace. And so long as we continue to seek sincerely, no matter how often we fall down, so long as we keep trying, God will never abandon us. So long as we are trying, there's no sin against the Holy Ghost of our own spirit. And so this is not the same as those who actually, consciously, intentionally leave the spiritual path. One woman, devotee, left the path long ago, a devotee of Yogananda, maybe in the 20s or 30s, took up a worldly life, got married, had a child, etc. Not that those are necessarily worldly, but in any case came back to the ashram, to the monastery years later. And somebody asked her, "How could you come back after leaving the master?" She said, "What am I supposed to do, worship my mistakes?" So as long as we as a prodigal child realize that we have been going down the wrong path, and so long as we turn about face, looking up, seeking our home in God, seeking God's love and joy, etc., seeking to do that which is right, dharmic in our life, God will not abandon us. Okay, folks, next Friday, 1 week from today, we will launch on a new venture of our weekday broadcasts. At the present moment, we're thinking to broadcast lessons learned from the original lessons of Paramahansa Yogananda published in the 1920s. We're not going to give those lessons as lessons so much as to glean inspiration and insight from those lessons. Okay, joy and blessings to you this beautiful, cool spring day.